I fully blame my type in music and also my taste in men on two bands that I was listening to at 10 years old. When you hear the songs in the bands I'm about to say, you're probably going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. Broadcasting from beyond the grave, this is a Redhead Gothcast, the podcast where I talk all things horror, metal, and whatever other unhinged chaos is going on in my life that week. I'm Jaden, also known as the Redhead Goth Girl. If you're into horror, metal, and a little bit of unhinged storytelling, you're in the right place. Now, before I get into the two bands that permanently altered my brain chemistry at 10 years old, I gotta tell you the unhinged number one moment of the week for me. And that was getting a new tattoo yesterday. I'm sorry, Mom. This tattoo, I went into it thinking I was gonna be fine. I have 14 tattoos at this point and thought this is gonna be no big deal. I was not fine, and it was a big deal. Indeed. This tattoo, for whatever reason, I'm going to post a picture of it here, was the most painful tattoo I have ever sat through. And if you don't follow me on social media, I got a portrait of Ghostface, which, if you could not tell by the two masks hanging up, is my favorite horror movie franchise. So this tattoo was truly a long time coming, but for whatever unknown reason, the moment that my artist stuck the needle into my leg, oh goodness, I was just done. I knew it was not going to be a fun 3.5 hours, and it was not. I absolutely love how the tattoo looks, but I did not love sitting through the pain. And for most of the session, I was on my phone trying to just distract myself, and I think I was overcompensating that during the last hour I had to put my phone away. I put my hoodie completely over my face, both of my AirPods in, and because of the placement on my thigh of the tattoo, I was face down in the tattoo bed, and I just, like I said, head right into the pillow, disassociated for the last hour. But I love the tattoo. It's awesome. And again, I'm sorry, Mom. Because if you didn't know now, you're going to know when you listen to this episode. Back to how this whole thing started for me, and this whole thing being my taste in horror movies and my absolute undying love for metal and metalcore, all things screamo music. So in order to properly tell this story and where this whole thing starts, we need to take it back to 2009 when I was 10 years old and in the fifth grade. So my mom is the coolest mom in the world. She is truly Regina George's mom from Mean Girls. As she says, and as the movie says, I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom. And for whatever reason, growing up, my mom would always allow my brother and I to play whatever songs that we wanted in her car. Already a very questionable choice, but in my opinion, like I said, made her the coolest mom ever. I'm in the fifth grade. I am on my way to a field trip, and my mom is the chaperone. So she is driving me and two of my classmates to the zoo. I'll never forget, that is where we were going in this field trip. I had the luxury of being in control of the aux. And what song do I put on at 10 years old for my friends? Don't Trust Me by 303 at 10 years old in the fifth grade. And if you know that song, there is absolutely no reason why I should have been listening to that song and also loved it as much as I did at that age. So I can tell you, I didn't know any of the lyrics, right? Like I didn't know what they meant because I knew every single one of them and was singing along. But at the time, I could not tell you what it meant to be washing X's off the back of your hands until I got to college and was literally in the bathroom at the local bars washing X's off the back of my hands with my best friends, trying to Well, we won't say what we were trying to do, right? But if you've done that, you kind of know what that means, right? And then it's so unfortunate because if you know me, you know I have just an undying love for that song, right? The whole song is about not trusting hoes. So you would think with the 100 million times I have listened to this song, I'm probably the number one listener of all time on Spotify, that I would have never, ever trusted a single hoe in my life. I have unfortunately trusted a few hoes. I hate to say it, I have not learned my lesson at almost 27 years old. Perhaps I should listen to that song even more than I do if it's humanly possible. The entire album, Want, that came out in '08, the entire album is a banger. It wasn't just Don't Trust Me that got me into the scene. It was Punk Bitch, Choke Chain, Rich Man. I will say, being almost 27 next week, seeing Rich Man trending on social media has brought me so much joy. I can't even explain it to you guys. That whole album is a banger. It was just specifically being in 5th grade on a field trip with my mom driving the car, listening to Don't Trust Me. Just an absolute core memory moment. Mother of the Year award? Maybe not to some, but to me, yes. And back in the day, the little iPod shuffles, I had one in hot pink. That entire album by 303 was downloaded onto my iPod shuffle. And let me tell you, whenever I listened to that album, because nobody in elementary school was listening to that, oh, I felt like I was the coolest person ever. And that was the first time I realized, okay, I am into stuff that's a little bit more edgier, in your face, just absolutely apologetic, non-apologetic, I should say. That was my obsession with 303 that has not ever left. And if you know me, you know I have Streets of Gold on vinyl. The Double Vision's my absolute favorite. But anyways, not long after 303, I discovered Metro Station. It was absolutely game over. You could have put me in a coffin, crucified me. It was done. And that's where the descent into madness really started. If you've ever heard of the song Shake It, that was my anthem. Again, it still is. But listening to that in the 5th grade just completely altered my brain chemistry. And if you've ever seen the music video, you probably know exactly what I'm going to say. Mason Musso was wearing these red pants. And I thought that was just the absolute epitome of fashion. So I begged my mom, I'll never forget, to take me to the store that was Justice, RIP, so that she would be kind enough to buy me a pair of these red pants. And for whatever reason, she actually did. And let me tell you, when I wore those red pants, oh man, I thought I was the shit. I would plan outfits around these pants. I would buy shoes around these pants. And then the best part was when I would be in the 5th grade listening to this song on my hot pink iPod shuffle, walking down the hall, wearing these red pants. I thought I was just the coolest person ever. I mean, my God, I thought I was in Metro Station myself. And again, I think that should have been the first warning sign to my parents that I was very easily influenced by the music that I like. It was just very main character energy. And another sign that from a very young age, I did not give a singular fuck about what anybody thought about me. And I did march to the beat of my own drum and did and wore whatever I liked. Not much has changed. It's also insane because yes, Shake It is the song from that album. But again, Metro Station's self-titled album has so many bangers on it. I mean, we need to take a moment to address this and give credit where credit is due. For example, Control. Again, another scenario where it was game over. I will never forget the first time that I saw this music video and thought, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to grow up and attend a house party because all house parties are going to be this cool. I mean, people are going to be wearing body paint that's glow in the dark. There's going to be bounce houses. There's going to be hot guys singing in living rooms. No, quite literally, no. I have never been to a house party, let alone one in high school, that looked like this. So although I do love Metro Station and their self-titled album and every song on it, I have beef because they put it in my head at a young age that this is how cool house parties would be. Not a single one has ever been that cool. Between Shake It, Control, and 17 Forever on repeat. Again, those 3 songs, I am convinced I am the #1 all-time listener on Spotify. So Spotify, if you can check analytics, I'm going to need you to pull a couple for me because I am curious. It goes a little bit further than the music because yes, I believe from the bottom of my heart that if it were not for 303 and Metro Station, I would never have progressed into what is now the metalcore scene that I love. I also have them to thank for my type in men. Because again, this was another core memory that altered my brain chemistry. And that was seeing Mason Musso and Trey Cyrus for the first time ever, which was the Shake It music video. And between the dark hair, the tattoos, piercings, I mean, that completely altered my brain chemistry. And it has never been the same. It has never gone back to normal. At almost 27 years old, dark hair, tattoos, piercings, sign me up. Give me all the trauma. That is just my weak spot. So thank you, not only for influencing my music taste, but my weakness when it comes to men. What's unique, as I said, is this is where it all started for me. You're probably laughing because this is the MySpace era of music. But again, if it weren't for those 2 bands, this would have never been a thing for me in my life. And after my discovery of 303 Metro Station, it progressed. It was just a timeline trajectory that shot me to the summer of 2012, which was when I discovered Motionless in White, Sleeping with Sirens, and Black Veil Brides. Because from there, we were just on a one-stop train to metalcore station. Okay, well, we're going to talk about that in the next episode. But the timeline went from, like I said, 5th grade, Metro Station, 303, jamming on my hot pink iPod Shuffle, to discovering Sum 41, Yellow Card, Paramore, Boys Like Girls, Cute is What We Aim For. So it just became something that launched me into heavier music. And what's really funny is those songs, my love for 303 and Metro Station has quite literally never left me, which is, as I said, why I have a vinyl of Streets of Gold. If there is one that I can buy for the Metro Station self-titled album, somebody please let me know. I would pay a top dollar to have such a gem in my collection. As I mentioned, those songs never left me. I still, to this day, listen to Shake It, Don't Trust Me, if I'm getting ready for a date, getting ready to go out with my friends. And if I'm on a girls trip, forget about it. We are playing Don't Trust Me, Good Girls Go Bad, shout out to Cobra Starship, like just the 2008, 7, 9 MySpace core era. That is like the best hype up music. Like, you can fight me if you don't agree. I still listen to those songs very religiously. An even more sentimental moment that I hold very dear to my heart was Not too long ago, actually, back in November, it is now April, I was at Warped Tour Orlando and I had the absolute honor of seeing 303 side stage. And it was one of those moments I'll never forget. I'm standing there. They are playing their set, which just so happened to be at sunset. So it was just a picturesque, perfect moment. And I just felt like I was having an out of body experience. I'm standing there listening to the band that brought me into, as I said, the interest that I have today, that I was listening to way too young in the fifth grade. And it just all felt so surreal. And I actually FaceTimed my mom when Don't Trust Me came on because growing up, that's always been our thing. We've always joked about for years that moment of her letting me play that song to two of my classmates in the car on the way to the field trip. Again, we also have this very cute, very embarrassing inside joke where if you know me, you know I am dyslexic as shit. And in the fifth grade, I did not understand that the word O was spelled O-H. I thought whenever you said O, you were saying just the letter O. So growing up, I thought the band 303 was actually pronounced 30H3. Yeah. And my mom just thought that was so funny that she never corrected me on it. So again, I'm standing there, Warped Tour Orlando, and I thought, wow, I mean, I don't think I would have this love and affinity for this band if it weren't for some of the nuances and inside jokes that I have had over the years with my mom. So I FaceTimed her, and there we were, jamming to Don't Trust Me like it was 2009 and I'm 10 years old again. And it's so awesome to see that band still doing so well. And as I said, to see Richmond trending is just immaculate. They're actually playing Rockville in about 2.5 weeks from now. And I am beyond excited to get to see them live again. What I love about music is that it's not just the music itself. It's memories, it's moments in your life, it's core periods that, at least for myself, I can look back on and say, yeah, that was a huge part of my life. And it all stems from music. So it goes a lot deeper than, I guess, just the surface level, in my personal opinion. If you have a band or a song that got you into the music you're into now, drop me a caption in the show notes, follow me on Instagram at Redhead Goth Girl, and let me know, because I'm curious and I'm excited to see if anybody else can thank 303 and Metro Station for their interest now. And next week, I'm going to be talking about the horror movie that got me into my love for all things horror at age 4. And let me just say, after watching that movie, I was forever afraid of storm drains.